What's happening, hardscapers? Today we're going to be doing some poly sanding, and we've got a new roller compactor that I'm going to talk about and why we're going to be using it here. Let's get into this. We've talked quite a bit about installing polymeric sand on our channel. There's going to be links in our description below with a bunch of different videos we've done on polymeric sand, everything from installation to reasons why it can fail. And in the past, what I would use would be a plate compactor, and then I would strap on a pad underneath it that would allow me to go ahead and consolidate that polymeric sand down into the bottom of the joints while also not scuffing or cracking patio slabs, pavers, whatever that might be. You always need that protective layer, otherwise you're gonna get scuffing, you're gonna get scrapes, you're gonna get cracked stones. And even with that mat on the bottom of my plate compactor, when compacting these bigger slabs, I would still get one or two that would break on a project. And this is where this paver roller comes into play. This essentially has rubber pads or wheels on the bottom, or rollers more so, that allow us to just roll this across the surface while also compacting, vibrating that polymeric sand or that jointed compound right down to the bottom of the paver. And this is beneficial for multiple reasons here. Number one, rollers actually protect the surface of the pavers, and it's much easier to just roll something rather than having to use the momentum of the compaction, of the vibration to move that compactor through your project. Also, I haven't seen it, I haven't done it myself, but I know that this can be used on anything as small as like 1-inch natural stone square cut flag to be able to vibrate without cracking them, which is incredible. And that's where doing this project with these big slabs, not having to use a compactor and risk breaking one of them is a big benefit for this. Every broken piece is money down the drain, and we don't want to have to deal with that. And with this paver roller, we can definitely make sure that we're not going to be doing that as much as possible. I've done it twice now, one on our side walkway and then one on this side walkway, so 2 side walkways. Nothing is broken, and it's been a real positive having this piece of equipment. That being said, there are downsides to this, and the number one downside is this is such a specific machine for a specific purpose, so it does get expensive. Luckily, I got this last year. As you saw on the channel, I went to an equipment auction. This is another thing I had my eye on. I don't think I can tilt this over, but it's one of those paver rollers. It's got 4 wheels, they're rubber wheels. If I can get this for pretty cheap and it's unused, I would be pretty happy with that. And ended up getting this. I believe I paid about $2,500 for it, and if it was new, it would be more so around $4,000. I did get lucky though, because I did buy it new from that auction, so that was a huge benefit and about a $1,500 savings there. The other downside, and more so an argument against these pieces of equipment, is that the rubber wheels will actually soften the blow of the compaction. And also the smaller ones, I'm not too sure, but the larger ones don't actually give the 5,000 pounds of centrifugal force that is necessary as quoted by ICPI to be able to drive the pavers down into the jointing, into the bedding layer, to allow that bedding layer to come up into the joint, seating those pavers while also sending the jointed compound down to the bottom of the joint. So not only that softening of the blow, but also the lack of force that this thing expels into the pavement is a downside or a argument against using one of these machines. That being said, if you're not using it for a vehicular application or a commercial application, and especially if you're installing on top of synthetic base, you're not too concerned about having that bedding material work its way up. It's still important in my opinion, but having 1,000 pounds less centrifugal force or the softening of the blow, really where we're going to be using this is our slab installations rather than those paving stone installations, because for the most part we're not doing driveways in my business, and most of the projects that we do nowadays are with larger slabs rather than pavers. So we just want to make sure that we're not destroying our product when we go to consolidate that jointing compound, which should never ever be skipped. It will lead to the failure of your jointing compound in the long run. So here we are moving through, and this is drying now. Our polymeric sand is cured, so that's looking real nice. Everything gets locked in. As soon as you move that roller compactor through for the first time, you won't feel any movement in the stone like you may feel before you have anything in the joints. So you'll definitely feel that lockup immediately when you start rolling out that pavement. But then you'll top it back up, roll it again, and then top it back up if need be, and just keep on repeating that process until you get a perfect project here. You also want to make sure that you are 1/8 of an inch below the bottom of the chamfer there on the paver, so keeping that consistent, that makes sure that this polymeric sand is not going to fail here. So the big question is it worth spending $4,000 on this piece of equipment? And it just depends more so on the application and what projects you're typically doing. Like I was saying, most of our projects these days are larger stone slabs rather than pavers, and rarely vehicular applications and never commercial. And in that case, I'm gonna get a lot of use out of this paver roller. So it makes sense for me to spend that $2,500 in my case to be able to purchase one of these. Now they're still fairly new on our market, so you may not be able to find a used one just yet, but give it a couple of years, you might be able to. And in the meantime, you could always rent. Go to your local rental store, request it, see if they have it available, and rent it as a use case scenario. Or in the meantime, stick with your compactor with a mat or a pad on the bottom of it. Either way, they are going to work. You just want to make sure that if you're sticking to very large stone slabs, or if you want to compact the 1-inch natural stone, you'll want to definitely get one of these to be able to do that properly. So in this case, in my opinion, this is more of a luxury product to have rather than a necessity in your hardscape business for now. Though once you use it for the first time, it's going to be hard to not have it in your business. So you're likely want to save up for one of these eventually in your business. And hey, on our I Am a Hardscaper Uncut channel, link is going to be in the description below. We're going to have our full polymeric sand uncut installation of this, everything from sweeping, compacting, blowing, and activating that polymeric sand. So link is in the description below for that. But let me know your thoughts, your comments in the comment section below. Do you have one of these in your business? Do you like it? What are your opinions on the force and the rubber pads on the bottom? Leave all your comments and questions below. Like this video if you found it helpful for whatever reason, and subscribe to this YouTube channel for more hardscaping content like this. Thank you so much for watching.